How much of the record is written already or recorded already? Do you have a lead single planned?
Not yet. We do have some song ideas floating around. We're kind of refining as of right now. We are going to have a single coming up based off of this thing we're writing for this wrestler up here, and we'll announce more on that as time draws closer to that. But right now we don't have any specific songs slated for like a debut single for that full-length effort. Hopefully that'll come within the year. I think you can probably arrange that. We've got some good solid ideas, and
we do have some cool brand new stuff to us. We have an instrumental that's done. It just needs like an ending, and we had 2 other songs that were done before we took a break, that now would probably change just from how we've changed in 6-7 months. Colin?
Yeah, and I've got tons of riffs and whole songs on my own, but I haven't presented them to Tom or Tony yet, so we haven't really written anything off of it, but I got plenty of ideas for songs.
this man is a fountain of metal riffs. It's amazing. He's really the biggest reason we're still going, because he just never runs out of ideas.
Who are some of your biggest influences as musicians?
The reason I wanted to get into singing or screaming or whatever it is I do in a band to begin with was Corey Taylor. My oldest brother brought home Slipknot's album, and I about shit myself. I was like, this is awesome. But then what really drove me into it was hearing Mark Moots perform for December. It was, unfortunately, the band's not around anymore, but they were amazing, and it fit very well what I envisioned myself doing. So I thought, hey, if he can do that and be semi-successful, why can't I? And everything just kind of took off from there.
For me, I first started playing drums because Travis Barker really drew me in, and now the drummer like from Brand New, the drummer from August Burns Red, those guys really add to what I do. I'm kind of the more or less poppy guy in the band, or I don't know what you'd call it, but
Soft.
I'm the soft guy.
Yeah.
I like a lot of rap. I like anything with a really good solid beat to it. So.
And for me, it was Slipknot for me too. I became basically obsessed with them, and Metallica too. First CD I ever owned was Master of Puppets, and I've just been into metal, and then watching like Lamb of God's Philadelphia DVD, watching them up on a stage doing what they do. I just watched it, wishing that someday I could do that, and then I picked up a guitar, and now I'm trying to reach that goal.
Yeah, none of that to say that we're all, any one of us or all of us are strictly metal or hard rock either. You know, I like a lot of other things. It's just I really enjoy performing this more than anything else.
Yeah, it's the funnest music to play for me, but I love all other music as well.
How would you describe the typical crowd at one of your shows?
Small.
So far, pretty small.
But rowdy.
But rowdy, definitely rowdy.
There's a couple of bands in this town that just love anything that can make their heads bang or thrash or whatever you call it. So it's, you know, a younger crowd too, which is probably the case in a lot of small town venues, but it's what we grew, me and Tony especially, I know Colin a little bit, we grew up in this scene, so it was really neat to actually get to play to it as well, even though we have earlier, but to actually bring something serious on my end is really cool. Something that I know I used to be in like punk pop bands and stuff like that, and this is something that challenges me, and I can never like take a rest or anything when we play. I just love being that energetic when we play.
Yeah, and the small crowds here is it's more an effect of where we are, because like the metal scene up here, it's growing but slowly. It's taking a while to take off.
And it's bar based.
It is very bar based, and the way, back to the management thing we talked about, the way we were managing before, we weren't really pursuing shows so much, we were kind of letting shows pursue us, which was stupid. So we ended up playing this little place, you know, in an old vacuum repair shop that could fit, what was it, maximum 30 people.
Pangea House.
Yeah.
And the ceiling was roughly 6'2".
Yeah, and I'm 6 foot, so I had a really hard time moving. But they were fun shows. I mean, there was only 30 people, but we packed it 2 or 3 times, so we must have done something right. And as far as the pit goes, people tried, but there's this big hole in the middle of the room that seriously restricted all that. But we played 2 bigger venues. They weren't exactly promoted the best, also partially our fault, and they were small crowds as well, but goddamn, they were into it.
We were always the opener too, so we took any slot that they would give us. So that, I thought for us that was a good deal, because they could just throw us wherever, and we were cool with it. We are cool with it. I shouldn't say we still, I think we'd play anything.
I think when that was all going on, that was probably the only thing we did right, was accept everything. Everything else we didn't pursue, so we don't know how it would have gone. That's all changing soon.